Whiskey 3, Delta Victor X-ray. Go ahead.
Delta Victor X-ray, roger. And what's the name there?
Delta Victor X-ray, roger. And what's the name there? This is Alan. Handle is Alan, and I wrote you an email about a week ago. Go ahead.
Is that A-L-A-N?
Is that A-L-A-N? That's Roger.
Roger, Alan. I remember that. And what radio are you running today, sir?
Alan, I remember that. And what radio are you running today, sir? Today I'm running my new K-4, at least new to me anyway, and running at 100 watts. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, Alan. And what's your location, sir?
Yes, sir, Alan. And what's your location, sir? QTH is Williamsport, Pennsylvania, the home of the Little League, right in north central Pennsylvania.
Roger. Okay, I'm copying you fairly well on the Milford PASDR. If you would like, maybe give me a little bit, about 10 seconds or so, about your antenna system. Let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us.
Antenna system. Let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us. Okay, well, I've got two antennas here in the shop, and actually doing diversity on receive here, which is do that with a receiver. So K4 lets me do all kinds of tricks that I don't know how to do yet. So that's what I'm calling about, to get the audio double checked, make sure that it's at least sounding decent anyway. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Found you also on Arlington, and the thing about Arlington is that it has a fairly low-end capability over a lot of the SDRs. A lot of these SDRs are rolling out at about 250 cycles, and I think Arlington is down there to 100 cycles or so. It sounds like it, as opposed to the other SDRs. So I'm copying you there. You look fairly broad, down to the bottom end. I might use just a little more top for balance, maybe a couple of clicks, top end EQ, depending on what your type of EQ is. Is that a 3-band or 8-band, or how does that go?
Is that a 3-band or 8-band, or how does that go? Well, what I'm using right at the moment is my electro voice, and that's I'm about a couple inches away from the mic. I've got 10 dB amplification going into the radio. That is, the radio is giving me 10 dB plus on the microphone, and I have attenuation on the low end, and my equalizer steps upwards to about max of 16 plus at 3200, and then it's kind of linear, sort of linear, stepwise linear, going from 100 hertz up to 3200. That's what the equalizer looks like, and of course, electro voice is pretty broad in itself, and that's kind of what I was looking for, actually. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sounds pretty good. I would go with it. Usually, though, I suggest that everything from 400 cycles to 1.6K be flat. Flat, everything from 400 cycles to 1.6K. And the ideal cut boost frequency on the top end, the treble end, is 2.7. 2.7K is the ideal frequency for boost, and if you have a shape capability, it would be at a 4. At 2.7 is just the ideal frequency to boost. Roger?
2.7 is just the ideal frequency to boost. Roger? Yeah, well, I can, I've got between 400 and 1600, I've got, I can, the 400 and 800 are both set at 0 dB, and the 1200 and 1600 range at +9 and +12 respectively. Now, let me just go ahead and give you a tad more boost here. There's 20 dB boost on the whole works, so I'm hitting with 20 dB rather than 10 dB. How's that sound? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, your dynamic range went to about 2.5 dB, which is, a good range there. It's nice and full. I didn't see any distortion. I didn't hear any distortion, and just got louder. Apparent loudness. Now, it didn't actually. I've got your level set at 0 level on the VU meter, and even though you boosted that 10 dB, it didn't raise the peaks. So your limiter is keeping that down and just making it fatter, Roger?
So your limiter is keeping that down and just making it fatter, Roger?
Okay, the compression set to 25, which was recommended as being what to set the K-4 at, and it looks as though my ALC is about to a 5, which is, I think, where I'm supposed to be with this thing to push about as far as I can go. Now, while I'm talking, I can go from 25 up to, say, let's go to 50 on compression. See what the difference might be from your standpoint. Back to 25 again, and here we are at 25 compression. Did you notice any difference?
I'm getting quite a bit of sideband QRM from 7188, I think. I haven't pinpointed it, but I think it's coming down from the top, and it is a lot of trash, frankly. But we're trying to get through it, and so from time to time your signal drops down just a little bit, and then the trash takes over. So I'm kind of battling a thing there, but it sounds good in all ranges. Even when you went plus 10 over, when you went to 20. Plus 10 over 10, you were still clean. There was no obvious distortion. So, gosh, you might compromise that and just run it at 5 over 10,
You might compromise that and just run it at 5 over 10,
Okay, well, when I don't have a choice for anything other than 0, plus 10 or plus 20 dB, and if I could just go for 0, I have to be too close to the mic, and but 10 seemed to be a compromise. But if I can get by with 20 and I punch through whatever it is that's out there, this is a good thing. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. The thing would be probably not to take a long pause, because I have a feeling that there would be some suck-up in there, and as long as you continue your speech pattern the way you have been, there's no problem between suck-up between words. But if you were to take about a 3 or 4 second pause, I'm sure things would come rushing up. Roger?
3 or 4 second pause. I'm sure things would come rushing up. Roger?
Well, I can pause for a moment right here. Waiting. Okay, I'm done waiting. And 7188, by the way, is looking on my pin adapter here, is really, really strong relative to you, and I'm not having a bit of trouble copying you whatsoever. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, that's good. And that difference in signal strength, it just it's fine the way you were. I wouldn't change a thing there. Just the thing is, sometimes when you start getting into that 2 dB dynamic range, you're right into blur. You can go 2.5. I usually suggest 3 dB dynamic range, and that keeps you well out of any blurring sound of your words. Like I say, that FYI, that 7610, we've experimented with that, and it has a drive capability, and that drive capability is apparently like an audio additional processing, and usually it comes stock 50, set at 50, and we usually bring it up to 65, but we have played with it on up to 75, 85, 95, 100. And what happens at 100 is the dynamic range has shrunken to about a 0.5 dB. So as I'm looking at modulation on my VU meter, instead of the meter bouncing around like you would normally have to some degree, at a 0.5 dB of dynamic range, the meter just quivers. It's kind of like looking at a plate voltmeter. Roger?
The meter just quivers. It's kind of like looking at a plate voltmeter. Roger?
Okay, well, as far as the good, as long as I know this radio's sounding halfway presentable and getting through with clarity. Whether I know what I'm doing before I get totally confused in the whole matter. But this is a most mighty steep learning curve on the K-4, but it's turning out to be a mighty fine radio for me. Go ahead.
Yes, that was a beautiful transmission. You were in the clear most of the time, so I could really hear your audio very well, and it's just perfect. Get the Gorilla Tape and tape it down like it is, Roger.
And it's just perfect. Get the Gorilla Tape and tape it down like it is, Roger.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm delighted that I had a chance to get through to you so soon this afternoon. And Jim, I really do appreciate your being here. And I just chanced upon you last week, and I heard what was going on. I said, gee whiz, I got to get in on this thing. And 5 o'clock rolled around, and you said good night. And I said, whoopsie, ran out of time. But many thanks for being here, and thanks for the good work you're doing. I'm sure it's appreciated all around by lots of folks who might be listening in, and I, for one, being a beneficiary of your capability and your good intentions here, you've succeeded at it, and I really do appreciate it. Many thanks, Jim. KC9VKV, Whiskey 3, Delta Victor X-Ray.
Roger, Alan. Thank you, sir. 73 to you. And again, if you want to hear your audio, go to YouTube, do that, call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search. Will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So 73, sir. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'll be in the area, either 7188 or 7185. Depending on our luck. 73, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.